Today is all about helping you to recognize or to see kind of the power of where EFT would help you in, if you were to add it as a modality to your existing business, what the power of that is. So we have a number of people who come into EFT training and they've got nothing behind them. In that, I mean, they have no other business, they have no other modality, they have no other qualifications. They just know the power of EFT for themselves, and they know the power in, because they've more than likely done it for themselves, or they've done some work with it, or somebody's done it for them, as in a practitioner's done it with them, and they get to the stage they go, I know this works and I want more of this. And then they start to see themselves in a space where they could also have a business, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's a full-time thing, transition out, whatever, and people start to see the power of it. So in this call, I actually want to talk to you about, if you're considering adding EFT as a modality to your existing business, the power and the transformation and the difference that you're going to see. Now, my background, for those of you I don't know yet, I was a life coach. I have a diploma in life coaching, certifications in NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming, certifications in timeline therapy. So I had a bunch of qualifications sitting in behind me before I even found EFT. I already had a very thriving practice. I worked as a business coach for a number of years and focused on people who were brand new to business, so kind of like the startup space. I also did a lot of work in the direct selling space as well, so kind of different kind of people in business, so I worked with those. But what I found was, when I added EFT to my toolkit, let's call it my toolkit, so I already had the others, when I added EFT to my toolkit, that's when the big shifts for my clients happened. Now, the power of EFT, so I was going to say, for those who don't know, you probably all know, so let me go through it. The power of EFT is it helps to regulate the fight or flight response in the body. So think about when you pick up a baby's unsettled, it might be crying, whatever, and we'll tend to put it on our shoulder, particularly women. Lots of men do as well, but particularly women, we seem to know that we put a baby up on our shoulder and we pat its back and it calms the baby down. We'll tend to pat them on the bottom as well. We know it calms it down because instinctively, as people, as humans, we know that this rhythmic tapping on the body actually works. So while we do tapping on the face, all we're doing is tapping on the meridian points, so the meridian lines that run through each of the energy circuitry of our body. So we have energy circuitry, the lines run through the front and around through our face and the top of the head, but they also run down the back, which is why when we pat a baby on its back, it's easy to calm it because there's these energy meridians running down its little body. So we're rhythmically tapping on it. It's not that it's got, emotional issues going on or it's got thoughts going on and things, but the baby's upset. It knows it's upset. It knows its needs aren't being met. It needs something. It's crying. Rhythmically, we know this works. Okay, so that's the power of EFT. So that's a very simplistic term. So let me take it into the next space for you. Imagine you are a business coach. I was a business coach. I worked with a whole bunch of business clients, people who had front-facing businesses, like a shop front. I then worked with people who sort of had online businesses. So I did a lot of kind of online stuff in that space. And you're going to have to forgive these birds. I can just hear. So where was I? Business clients, my business clients. So when you think about your business clients, their business is always going to be a 3D printout of their thoughts. Whatever they've got going on and whatever they're thinking about and whatever the recurring thoughts are, that's going to be the reflection in their business. I don't care how big their business is. It's a 3D printout of their thoughts. So whatever thoughts are going on for them, thankfully the birdies have stopped now, whatever they've got going on, it's going to reflect in the business. So from when I work with business clients, generally what we're looking at is, or what starts to come up is, are they worthy? Do they deserve? Are they, ahead of too many people? Are they isolating people? Are their relationships falling apart? So we look at what's going on underneath their business stuff. We don't just sort of go head on and start to go, well, let's just set some goals. So I used to set some great goals with these people. It's like, okay, you want to be here, you're here and you want to be here. What's the gap? Which is primarily what coaching is. How do we bridge this gap? But what I found was we would set goals and we would talk about it, coach them, and they'd be all on board to get it done. But then they'd come back and they hadn't achieved it. So there was some sort of block in the middle. What was the block in here? That's where EFT tapping comes in, because what you'll be able to do is when you set the goals and you're here, when you find the blocks, you can help clear the blocks. Now, talking about blocks and limits is great, but actually clearing it out of the body and the energy system and the sensations in the body and the reactions in the body is the most powerful thing that you can do. Because the conscious mind will go, yeah, but the unconscious mind that's running the show, it's where the blocks and limits and the I don't think so's and the fears come up, and what happens if, that's where all that stuff goes on. So if you're a business coach, you'd be able to use that to help your clients bridge that gap, help them get over those blocks without them always being push, hustle, push. Because not everybody wants to push, hustle, push. Many of us go into business because we want freedom and lifestyle and love it and fun. Doesn't always have to be the other stuff, but we still need those blocks and limits shifted and moved. So if you're a sports coach, sports injuries, did lots of work with sports injury, did a lot of work with ice skaters, actually. That was one of the places I had the most fun. Ice skaters who maybe didn't think they could do the jump, or maybe didn't think they could do the triple jump, or didn't think they'd be able to do something. I worked with quite a few of those. And we did the tapping on, this is what you need to be doing, do the spin. But we did the tapping on was, what's the thought that runs through your head as you're about to do the spin? Because that's the important thing. What's the thought you've got going on? And we did a lot of tapping on that, which meant when they went out to do that jump, that spin, that routine, the thought wasn't there that stops them from achieving it. Now, there was also a young girl who'd had an injury as well. So we did a lot of work on her fear of being injured again. So again, sporting coaches, have you got the space to be able to add tapping to your repertoire so that when your clients aren't getting the results, what's stopping them from getting the results? What's the fear? What's the worry? What's the concern? Or is it they're not visualizing themselves doing the thing because of some fears? Perfect place to use it for a sports coach. Wellness coaches, unbelievable. Particularly when you think of EFT can help your clients with cravings. It can help them get over food cravings. It can help them get over addictions. It can help them change behaviors. From a wellness coaching perspective, it helps you to get underneath what the frustrations and the fears are for your clients when they're wanting to have better health, better nutrition, better wellness, losing weight, being able to lift better weights, actually lift the weights. Tapping can help with all of those. And another great space for it is relationship coaching. How often, I know when I went to relationship coaching before my marriage completely fell apart, it was frustrating, angering, triggering, traumatic, because it was rehashing everything. Nothing got resolved. It was just talking about things and how angry I got. Had I had tapping back then, I think it would have gone a lot differently, because what it would have given is the practitioner who was the person who was facilitating the session with us, it would have given her a way to work with, say, me, to be able to get moved through my anger of what was going on, to actually be able to have a conversation with her about what was really going on for me. Because obviously when you're in a state of upset and anger and emotional reaction, there's not a lot of logical thought going on. There's not a lot of frontal pre-cortex thoughts and processes going on that are logical, practical, sensible. It's very, very fight or flight driven. So from a relationship coaching point of view, being able to support your clients in those emotional, upsetting and difficult conversations, that's where you would use tapping. Now, the next one is leadership and career coaching. Now, the further up the food chain you get, the further up the working career chain, maybe the food chain is not the thing, but the higher up the hierarchy somebody gets in their corporate career, the more fears that they have. And the part of that is, and it's a really unique phenomenon, part of it is they feel exposed because there's less people up there. There's more chance of being found out. There's more chance of being seen as a fraud. There's more chance of having the thoughts of people one day are going to figure out, I don't know the shit that I'm doing up here. That stuff is very real for people in their leadership and their careers when they're starting to climb the ladder. Now, I have a beautiful girlfriend, one of my bestie friends, and she is a leadership coach, and she uses tapping a lot. Now, she even works with people who are being summoned into what's known in Australia as royal commissions. We get something happens in a royal commission, and people from particularly governments and agencies and stuff are called in to answer questions. She works with people at that level in going into those royal commissions and those places where they're going to have to stand up in front of a panel and be interrogated. She works with those to help calm that fight or flight response in them and to get them on a playing field before they go into those meetings. And the reason being, they need to deliver practical, sensible conversations about historical events. Easiest way to do it. So it doesn't matter where you are in the coaching space, EFT can be a fabulous, fabulous tool that you add to your modalities. Now, for my beautiful leadership people and my business people, they go, oh, yeah, well, that my clients aren't going to go woo-woo. One of the best coaches on the planet, Tony Robbins, absolute advocate of EFT, uses it all the time and even bought into one of the biggest names in the EFT industry, bought into one of their products. He loves it so much. Same with Brendan Mashard, again, amazing leadership coach across the world. He also uses tapping with his clients. So help your clients to break through the woo-woo stuff, because it's not all woo-woo. Help them to break through a lot of that woo-woo stuff. So that's where you can use tapping. Now, how did it help for me? So when I added EFT tapping to my client list of who I was working with, it gave me a couple of things. It broadened who I worked with, because it wasn't the same people that were attracted to me. I got a lot of personal clients coming in. I did get a lot of other clients who, yes, it was their personal stuff, but they had a business because they just knew they wanted to get past the stuff that was going on. So the who changed. The what I got to work on changed. Now, I'm one of these people, I get very excited when clients come to me with something new and something different, different thing that's going on for them, whether it's something different in the body or whether it's just something different elsewhere. It's really, really great when you get to expand what you get to work on, because it keeps you engaged in what you do. It becomes a lot of fun to be able to do that. Oops, isn't it the case? Someone's always calling you. You get to be able to do a whole lot of very, very different things. What it also did for me was I could increase my rates. I could increase the amount of money that I charged per session, because I got my clients such a different transformational session with me, and my client books became far more in demand because of what I was able to do. So therefore, I was able to increase my rates. So having the additional modalities and having the additional toolkit, and therefore having more people talk about you because you get amazing transformation for them, is a big, big part of why adding other modalities that are going to support your clients to your toolkit absolutely makes sense. Now, we talked a lot about who EFT can happen in the business world, sports, wellness, relationships, leadership, business clients, etc. I also now want to address things like the healers in us. Many of us are healers. I too am a healer, and I have conversations with people and they think my healing stuff is just a little too woo-woo for them. Sometimes it is. When we're Reiki, we're kinesiologists, all those other things. Sometimes for other people, it's just that little bit too woo-woo. EFT is also woo-woo, but sometimes just doesn't get quite as far into the woo-woo because there's so much science and so much, there have been so many research studies, there are so many documents around that have actually been published, articles on the efficacy of EFT and how it works with PTSD and all sorts of things that people have going on in their life. There are the research studies going on all over the world. Thank you to those people who do that research study. It is amazing that we can hook onto that. So people who are healers in Reiki and stuff like that, imagine your clients who it's great to do the Reiki, but then they've got some stuff coming up after the Reiki and you want to chat about it. Imagine then being able to actually do the tapping with them to clear what has just come up and clear the block. So having that additional thing to use with your clients, because I'm Reiki trained as well, and I know that's really great. You do some Reiki, then they've got the stuff, clear it in a conscious level, clear it out. They get to talk about, they get to clear it. Great for that. Massage clients. How many clients do you have that gets emotional, that actually has a whole lot of emotion coming up Imagine being able to help them process that. Massage is great for releasing it, but then you're going to have the other toolkit to actually be able to talk to them and actually have another arm of your business so that you're also helping your hands and not having to work your head so hard, perhaps, with being able to have another tool. So the power of adding EFT as a modality is just, it's phenomenal. Yes, I know I'm very biased. I just know the power and the shift and the changes that I got with my coaching clients before EFT versus after EFT. I also know the competency and the confidence in myself because I knew I had this tool that could actually clear stuff away and help move the blocks so that what we wanted to set out to do, they're actually going to be able to do. And that for me was just phenomenal. It really ticked more boxes than I could ever imagine. So if you are connected to us and you love talking about EFT and you are even considering adding EFT to your modalities, now we have two trainings. We have a practitioner of EFT training. It is primarily just practitioner of EFT. It is very in-depth in EFT. Doesn't include our life coaching, doesn't include our business. Perfect starter course if you're wanting to add it to an existing business you already have. If you're starting from scratch, advanced practitioner is probably the one for you, not because it's an advanced EFT practitioner certification, but it includes EFT and life coaching and all the business stuff. And that's the stuff that you want when you're going to start out in business. So they're the two trainings that we have. If EFT is a modality for you, you are welcome to book a clarity call with me, discovery call, whatever you want to call. Come and chat to me. Come ask me questions about EFT training for you. There's no tricky sales thing goes on. You're not going to find yourself in a course you don't want to be in. There's a genuine conversation with me who cares about you getting into the right EFT training for you, because otherwise it's a long, expensive trip for everybody if you're not in the training that's the right fit for you. So much love. Drop a comment underneath if you are watching this on the replay. Otherwise, I will see you all very soon.